Hi, welcome back. I'm Victoria and today I wanted to chat to you about my fall/autumn knitting plans. I've got quite a few and today I'm going to talk only about garments and accessories, but I won't mention any socks, even though I want to knit quite a few of those because I'm not certain what I want to knit yet for kind of my feet. The first thing I want to talk about is the Lara Cardigan by Handmade. This is a new pattern release and it's a DK weight fluffy cardigan knit on 4.5mm needles. So it's a lovely, relatively simple cabled design. It reminds me of the cardigan number 5, I believe, by My Favourite Things Knitwear. It's relatively simple, but it's got a little bit of pizzazz with the cables on the sleeves and on the front. I was actually going to apply for the test knit, but I ended up not making that decision because I wasn't really a fan of how kind of fluffy it is, and the cables didn't look very defined. But I follow Knits on Instagram and I saw kind of the tester photos of the finished cardigan and I really loved this one, and it was knitted in Reala FAL in, I think, the colour grey. I'm not sure what colour it was knitted in, but it was really lovely and I really enjoyed how it was kind of soft looking, but it also wasn't super fluffy. I'm not a fan of like the super defined cables, but I was also not enjoying the very brushed alpaca situation that was going on in the original swatches. So I fell in love with that cardigan when I saw that photo, and I've been waiting for the pattern to release like ever since, and on the day I'm filming this is when the pattern was released and I'm really excited to knit this up. I think the Reala FAL is also not super expensive, so it'll be a really nice thing to knit. So in the swatches that Knits posted, there was like various levels of cable definition that you can have on this cardigan, and she showed what they would look like if you used kind of brushed alpaca or if you used the knitting for olive merino with some mohair. And I really liked the knitting for olive merino and mohair combination, but I thought it was a little bit too expensive for me. I think it would be like a £70 or £80 jumper, which is a little bit too much. And I also thought that it would be nice to have a cardigan that I can just wear without mohair, because it can be a little bit irritating. I haven't tried the knitting for olive mohair, but I'm slightly sensitive to the drops one, so I'm a little bit worried for cardigans, and I'd just rather have something that I can definitely wear. I was also thinking of doing it slightly differently than the swatch, so one of them is knitted with 2 strands of drops brushed alpaca silk, and I was thinking of knitting it with 1 strand of something else and then a second strand of that brushed alpaca. But then I kind of realised that I might find the alpaca itchy as well, and I think I will definitely knit it in Reala FAL 04. The second pattern that I really want to knit is the Ribka Pouch. It's by a Polish designer, Sophie, and I've noticed that there's a lot of kind of up and coming Polish knitting designers, which is really interesting to see. They're kind of emerging and I'm starting to see a lot more patterns from people that sound Polish, and then I go and look and it turns out they are Polish. Fun fact about me, I'm also Polish. I'm from Poland, so it's really nice to see kind of people in the knitting community from my home country that also kind of release things in English. But yeah, the Ribka Pouch, it means little fish pouch because it's like a little scrappy pouch that would be really cute for like holding AirPods or keys or something. I'm not sure if it's entirely practical, but I think it will look really cute attached to like a bag or just literally like a little accessory. I think it will be really cute. I haven't really got yarn that I want to knit this in, but I'm thinking that it will be a really nice scrappy project and I could just use some leftover like sock yarn or mohair and like yarn from a cardigan or something, and it will still be really cute in like any colour because it doesn't really have to look like a fish. Like I saw some people make it look quite realistic in a way, and some people just make it look cute and like dainty. And yeah, I really like the photos of it, and I think it will be a really quick and kind of engaging knit that gives instant gratification in a way. I've never knitted myself a hat, even though I've been knitting for quite a while. I've knitted loads of cardigans, a few jumpers, and a lot of socks. I've literally never knitted myself a hat. And I really enjoy the Oslo hat pattern by Petite Knit. It's like, it's been overdone, everyone's knitted it, but it just looks good. I think I'm gonna knit it without the like fluffy bit at the top that's like here, so that it's just like on my head and lays nicely. So I'll definitely try it on as I'm knitting it, but I genuinely really enjoy that design and I think it will be really pretty. I'm also planning on knitting my boyfriend a matching hat, so we'll have like the same hat but in different colours, and it's going to be super cute, especially that we're planning on going on like a little ski trip with his parents, I think, in the like start of next year, so it will be really cute when we'll be skiing with our matching hats, and I'm really excited to knit those. So my hat will be in Sadness Garn Double Sunday in the colour 1015, and I think that is the only one that I'm going to knit right now, so like in the fall, and then probably I'll knit his hat in the winter. Another accessory that I'm planning to knit is the penny gloves. I've knitted this pattern before. I think it was like probably the second or third thing I ever knitted, and I've been wearing them to death. Like whenever it gets colder, I just wear them all the time, and I really love those gloves. Like they fit me really well. They're really usable because they're fingerless, so you can just wear them and you don't have to worry about like not being able to use your phone and just kind of walking around. They'll be really useful. But the first time I knitted them was in a colour that I don't really like. I was trying to find a drops yarn in the colour kind of in like a lilac-y purple colour, but they were out of it on all the websites that I looked for it on, and I'm really impatient, so I couldn't wait for them to be restocked, so I decided to go for something that's relatively close, and that ended up being quite pink. Like in the pictures it looked slightly purple, but in real life it's like a warm pink, which I wasn't a fan of. I've been wearing them tons and I still get a lot of wear out of them, but I don't think they are particularly my style. So once I knit myself a new pair, I will give those to my aunt who loves pink, and she's been wanting those gloves from me. Like she asked me to knit them for her, and she really likes the colour. I knitted her like a little headband in that same colour as well, so I think it will be really cute for her to have like a little matching set. I think they'll definitely be more wearable with a sock yarn, because I'm a bit worried about them kind of felting, because I've been using the Lime bikes in London quite often recently, and kind of in the colder months I would wear them, but then I get a little bit sweaty, or like it will get a little bit wet and then I'm holding onto the bike and like, I don't know, I'm worried they'll felt, so it might be a good idea to knit them in a sock yarn. But also I thought it would look so cute if I had them in the yarn that I'm using for my April cardigan at the moment. So a Drops Mohair in the colour beige and Drops Flora in the colour light fog or white fog. So it's like a marzipan-y kind of colour with a little bit of beige, and I thought it would look really good, but I'm not certain which one I'll go for yet. Even though I've been knitting for quite a while, I also haven't knitted myself a scarf. I know it's a beginner project and it's like a first thing that people knit a lot of the time, but I learned knitting by myself and I really wanted to knit cardigans and jumpers and things, so I never really wanted a scarf, especially that I have quite a few. I think I would really love to have like a nice matching scarf and hat and kind kind of glove set, because all of my scarves are made out of acrylic and they're store-bought, so they're not as cute as I would like them to be, but I think it would be really nice if I knitted myself something. So there's 2 contenders for this scarf, and I might knit them both depending on how much time I have and kind of how long they both feel to knit, because I know scarves can be a bit of a slog. I've seen Knits by Mandy knit a Sophie shawl a few years ago, and she made it match her little penny gloves, and I thought that was such a cute look, but I think hers was thinner than the petite knit one has in the like pattern swatches samples, like pictures. So I'm not sure how she's done that. She might have knitted the Sophie scarf instead and then kind of adapted it to be bigger. I'm not certain. Okay, for ages it has been dark and now it's gotten super bright, so the lighting might be going a bit funny because it's raining and it's like cloudy but sunny at the same time, so ignore that please. I was talking about, I'm not a fan of the petite knit samples of the Sophie shawl, so I think I might try and knit it just slightly skinnier so that it's not like massive on me. I haven't bought the pattern yet, so there might be options for it. I don't know, but I'll let you guys know. It'll definitely be in my podcast. I don't think I'll knit it in the same yarn that I've made my penny gloves in, or that I will make my penny gloves in, because I'd like something a bit softer and something that will definitely not itch, because my neck is very sensitive to wool and alpaca and all those sorts of yarns, so I think it will be either merino or cashmere or that sort of thing. Another contender is the Brioche Bandana Chunky by Garn Oxlicht. It's a brioche scarf knitted in a chunky yarn, and I think the suggested yarn is Isaga Alpaca 3, I believe. It's a chainette yarn and it is really nice. I looked at it in the Oxford yarn store and I really loved how the yarn kind of feels and looks, so that is a top contender, but I'm slightly worried that the scarf might be a bit too chunky and warm, so it might not be quite as wearable. And I've also never knitted brioche, so I'm a little bit worried how that will go. We'll see though. I might knit that one. We're back to jumpers, and my next plan is to knit the step-by-step sweater by Handmade by Florence. I've knitted the step-by-step cardigan by that same designer and I wear it absolutely all the time. It was such a quick knit as well. I think it took me about 2 weeks, so I really loved knitting it and I really loved wearing it, and the construction was really good, so I think it will be a staple piece to have in my wardrobe as a sweater as well. When Florence first released that pattern, I saw her knitted in a Noro yarn that I think then became discontinued, so I didn't really want to knit it in a solid colour, but also Noro is quite expensive and I didn't really want to spend like a stupid amount of money on chunky yarn, because not chunky, I think it's DK, but thick sweaters require a lot of yarn and it just becomes more expensive, so I kind of put it off a little bit. And not long ago I saw Noro have the yarn crayon on sale, and it's got the same kind of effect as that yarn that Florence used, so it's kind of self-striping but the stripes go relatively softly, so I thought it would be perfect, and I bought that yarn and it's got so much variation between like portions of it. Like some bits are really chunky and some bits are like fingering weight, so I might hold it with mohair. I'm thinking of using the Knitting for Olive mohair because I've never tried it, but a lot of people seem to think that it's really soft, so it might not be quite as an issue with my worry of itchiness. So I'll definitely give that a go, and it will be probably a relatively soon knit because it will be really quick and it'll be really cute, and I will definitely get a lot of wear out of it, especially that it's a raglan, because it'll just go with everything and it will be nice and beige, so it won't clash with things. And I think it looks relatively kind of professional, but not super professional, like just a good casual but also slightly smart jumper. Another sweater. This is a more ambitious project, and I'm not sure if I will get this one done this fall / winter, and this is the Brady Loop sweater by Other Loops. It's relatively plain, but it's a rib design, so it's I think 5x1 kind of rib, and it's got these lovely cables on the sleeves, and I'm not quite a fan of cable knitting, so this might be a little bit too much cabling for one season, but I'll see how I feel after the Lara Cardigan. I know including 2 cabled knits when I don't like cables is quite rogue, but I just really love both of those designs, and I think the Brady Loop sweater is just so kind of sophisticated but plain, but also interesting. Like, I'm not the biggest fan of just plain jumpers, so I think it's like gives a perfect amount of interest to the piece, and I think I really want to knit it. I haven't got a yarn chosen for it yet, but I think it will be kind of like a greyish colour, because I haven't really got much of that in my wardrobe, but it's a colour that I really like wearing, so I think that's what I will use. I'll definitely give a go to the knitting for all of mohair for my step-by-step sweater, so I will see how that wears, and if it is good then I think I'll try and get a combination of the mohair and merino by Knitting for Olive for this sweater, but I'll see how it goes. And then my final knitting plan is the sweater number 14 V-neck by My Favourite Things Knitwear. This list has been quite long, but I think these knits are relatively chunky and slightly bigger needles, so I think they will go quite quickly, especially that this one is a stockinette. I think I'm more likely to knit this one than the Brady Loop sweater, but I'm undecided yet. I also saw Knits by Mandy make the Harlow sweater V-neck by Crayabea, maybe? I'll name the designer here, but I really liked the way it looked, but I think I would want something a bit more substantial and chunky and maybe slightly quicker to knit because I'm not quite so patient, especially that I've been making lots of summer tops and lots of kind of things that are on really tiny needles, so I want a more of an instant gratification project, especially that I will wear those chunky knits because of the climate I live in, kind of allowing me to wear slightly thicker jumpers, and I get quite cold quite a lot, so I don't think it'll be an issue for me to wear them. So I'm not yet sure about the yarn that I want to use for this, but I think I'll hold something with the Drops Alpaca Silk. That's, I think some people have knitted that. I looked at through the Ravelry project, and I don't want to hold too many strands, and I don't really want to hold mohair, and I think it would be nice to give a go to the brushed alpaca and kind of see how it wears and if it's not too itchy, and especially that it's like not high up, it's like a very cut out sweater, so it won't be too much of an issue for my neck, and I think I could always wear something underneath so that it doesn't feel too itchy around the back of my neck. And I think it'll be a really nice piece to try it out on because it will still be wearable even if it is a little bit itchy. I hope you all enjoyed my list. Let me know if you're going to knit any of the same things that I'm planning on, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!